I just wanted to do this video because something came up for me. I heard the Catholic Bishop of the Diocese of Nsukka. He made a statement. He said, "If that Christians should be ashamed of ourselves, that he holds us accountable for the darkness that is in Nigeria. That how can we have light, but yet there's darkness all around us." I think the thing that came up for me is this. First and foremost, is the Christian religion even our religion? Because as it is, it seems as if Christianity has caused more problems for us than anything. It's like we've been packaged, sold the lie. Okay, look at this for instance. How will it be? I'll go to church on a Sunday, come back. While I'm still trying to enter my house, I'm at Jehovah Witness is stopping me to preach. A Christian is still trying to convert another Christian. I'm a Christian, you're a Christian. No? But for some reason, you feel that my own Christianity is wrong. And we left our African traditional religion. We left our African spirituality, abandoned everything. Listen, I feel it's becoming clearer and clearer that things like Catholicism, the Anglican Church, some of these were expressions, religious expressions, or the way the Europeans approached the divine. We as Africans also had our ways of approaching the divine, and our way of life and religion kind of like dictated what kind of the moral codes, the norms, the mores, the customs. You did something, you were held accountable for it. Now we are having public office holders, they swear by the Bible is not doing anything to anybody. Let's look at this thing. The Old Testament is Hebrew scripture, Hebrew stories. The God of Israel, the God of Isaac, the God of... Are those your forefathers? Are you a Jew? Are we Israelites? What has that got to do with us? And the painful part of the whole thing is that these are people that they don't even like us. Go to the Jewish community, whether they will allow you to even marry their child, whether it's their son or their daughter, as an African person, as a black person. Yet you've collected these people's religion. Jesus Christ now came. The painful part of the whole thing is that Jesus Christ, the Jews to today, they don't even believe in Jesus. But we've carried this thing on our head. They've insulted us, said we are this, we are that. Oh, okay, you want to say that we are doing human sacrifices. The Europeans did not help us. Go and check. I was even reading from here some of these things where they talked about burning at the stake. If you were a witch, you were burnt at the stake. Heretics were burnt, were killed. Why is our own worse than their own? Because they discovered early that what they were doing was wrong. Along the line, I believe, as the years went by, Africans would have also realized that human sacrifices and all those things were also bad. Throwing twins in the evil forest, we would have known that they were bad. We would have grown. We would have grown. But they bamboozled us. If those people were good, Christianity, if you know the millions of people that have died, not because they willingly chose to be martyrs for Christ, no, millions of people who were directly killed by Christians for Christian. When the Irish missionaries or the European missionaries were in Nigeria or were in Africa, colonization was going on. They saw their people coming and catching away our young men and women for slavery. Why didn't the missionaries stop it? They were Presbyterian missionaries, they were Catholic missionaries at the time. Where were they in the midst of all that? Which one of them in history made any attempt to stop it? None. If you check, even if they did, it was probably a very weak attempt. There was no resistance. I can't take these people to all that. And even when people who received the faith said, okay, we want to be priests or we want to be ministers, the white people said no. Because they felt that black people God cannot also have a calling on the lives of these people. How do you preach a God that loves and calls people, but he only calls you? When he now decides to call other people from other places, you have an issue with it. Why? Catholic Church, Latin is the language of the church. Is Latin my own language? How about the Italians come and learn mine? How about we do that? I was hearing some white people saying, oh, they like the Vatican I Mass. So the Vatican I Mass was the time when the priest backed the people and everything was said in Latin. These people don't care about you. And I asked them, do you realize that there are other cultures and tribes apart from you? So everybody, including the old woman in Kenya who is trying to grow in a Catholic faith, should go and learn Latin too. This is not ours. That's why there's so much confusion, identity crisis. Some of the things that we were taught were barbaric and evil and diabolical, they've packaged it for us and put it in movies. Goddess of the sea, Mami Water, every Mami Water spirit will come against it. But when it is time, all of us will enter cinema and go and watch Aquaman. You're watching Aquaman. Why are you not buying it? Aquaman, is it not God of the sea? All of us, many of us have watched this movie, Clash of the Titans. Zeus, Hades, Poseidon, God of the sea. Morpheus, God of sleep. Helena, goddess of love. No wonder Paul went to preach to the Greeks, and immediately Paul told the Greeks that Jesus died for them and rose again. And the Greeks laughed at him and said, don't worry, go. We'll hear from you again. And I don't think the Greeks ever converted to Christianity after that. Why don't we sit down and think some of these things through? Why are we afraid? They threaten us with hellfire so that we will not think it through. So that we won't ask questions. We have identity crisis. The whole of Africa is problems that seem to be unsolved. Generation upon generation upon generation is coming to suffer the effects of colonialism. I am hearing white Christians, white Catholics, a man sat down in front of a camera justifying colonialism. What did he say? He said that colonialism had its own good side because the northern part of, he used India as an example. He said the northern part of India and the southern part of India they had different languages. So through colonization, they were able to learn English, and now they can communicate with themselves. So upon all the destruction of colonialism, you justify colonialism with that we learned English. And tomorrow people will say there's nothing like white supremacy. So you are telling me that the Indians would not have been able to sort themselves out? You're telling us that Africans would not have been able to grow and sort. We were the destination for ancient civilization. Our artwork, our sculptures, everything were barbaric. And they have it in their museums making money, and they've refused to return it to us. Why is the evil spirit not disturbing them? Why is it not? Why did they take our artwork, take our all those things, and they are displaying it in their museums? France, leave our artifacts and send it to us now. No. Those were things that they said were evil. They are keeping it. Their cathedrals, when they are selling their churches, they've turned some of them to hotels, they've turned some of them to tourist sites. Some of them are hosting nightclub. Why haven't they gone to? Why are they not afraid that they will go to hellfire? Why is it only us? When you want to have a conversation about these things, you will go to hellfire. Okay. Meanwhile, these people came and were killing people. Look at this thing with Trump. Christians. I was hearing someone, a so-called Christian, going to church every Sunday, opening his mouth and typing on Facebook that he wished that coup had succeeded. Christian. No matter what Trump does, hey, no matter what the man says, somebody was going to the Capitol to go and protest, to go and break in and commit coup, and he carried placard, Jesus saves. I was listening to one minister, and the man was saying that the only way to preserve civilization is by aggressive and violent Christianity. When did you hear within the African culture that people were fighting each other because of religion or spirituality? I think in the Igbo culture, each family had their deity and they followed. Why is our own evil? Ancestral curse. Have you checked that the reason why we are having all these ancestral curses is because we have been disconnected from our roots. We've been disconnected from our bloodline. Even our traditions. I remember growing up as an Efik man, the women we went during the traditional marriage, they have this comb. In your churches, they preach, oh, it's evil. Your own tradition. When I'm getting married, I'll not put that thing in my head though. It's marine spirit. Abba. Our own is bad. Their own is good. That's why we are having so many identity crises. That is why we are a dumping ground. They package everything that was ours and sell it back to us. Not just crude oil and all those things. Natural beauty and natural hair that our African women have. Now people's faces are laden with makeup. Someone was arguing with me. Say, oh, that's what men like. We have been, I will use this term, mentally conditioned. That's because we have been conditioned. We see women with makeup. So now our brains have now adapted to the fact that the makeup is what makes you beautiful. Because many of these girls, you take off that makeup, you say, this girl don't even find herself. It's not that the girl is not beautiful, but our psyche, because the psychology, the psyche is a very powerful tool. It has been shifted because we've been seeing this thing continuously. Allow that freckles, allow that pimple on your face. Let the man see it and fall in love with you. White girls with freckles, those of you who know freckles, on their face, you don't see them put anything. You don't see them put anything on the name of makeup on their face. They carry it like that. They have their boyfriend. If the boy has freckles, fine hair, our afro that will keep. Yes, my hair is not grown so much, but I love, sometimes I like playing with my hair. I like touching it, feeling it. Right from school, it's a bad thing. They will carry scissors. They bastardized our culture, then used us to continue to destroy our culture. You are walking on the road with your nice dreads. Police will call you and cut it. For what? Self-hate. Talking about marriage. Only us have 2 weddings. You wed in tradition, you still go and wed in church. If you wear tradition and you don't do in church, you will see a minister or a priest to stand in front of you and say, those of you who have not wedded in church and you are living together, it is a sin. Oh, the church does not recognize. How dare you? Who are you to tell me that my marriage is not? Who are you to tell me that my marriage is not recognized by the church? Who why? For what? Why? Meanwhile, these politicians that are stealing money come to church, people will give them communion and give them reading to take and give them front seats. But that family, because they didn't come and marry in church, you will not want to give them communion. See how we oppress ourselves for someone else's religion. Even Jesus Christ, hear the Bible. When I think it was the Samaritan woman that went to ask for healing, Jesus Christ said, I was sent to the lost sheep of Israel. We don't take what belongs to the dogs, to the children, and give to the dogs. So that means Jesus Christ did not even have you in mind first. He had Israel in mind. It was because Israel refused it. That's when they said, okay, carry the message to all of them now. Paul, the same thing. Paul went to preach to the Israelites. They rejected him. He said, okay, since you people have rejected the message, we'll take it to the Gentiles. That was how Paul started ministering to Gentiles. It wasn't even meant for us in the first place. It was almost like we stumbled on it. And then they considered us. And you see how it evolved. You even see the ways of worship. You can see it's not our own. That is why, as Catholics, for those of us who are Catholics, you see that in Africa during the Mass, you see us doing Thanksgiving, carrying yams, goats, and everything. That is our African traditional religion. That's our spirituality. That's how we thank the gods. Where do you think it's coming from? You come here and attend Mass, you don't see people do that. We are the only ones that do that. We are the only ones that carry goats, carry chicken, carry eggs, and do Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving in America is once a year, every last Thursday of November. That's when you have Thanksgiving in this place. Once a year, last Thursday of November, do Thanksgiving. Every Sunday we do Thanksgiving. Go and do 2 weddings. What will happen if the minister comes to our traditional marriage and bless the wedding there? Why do I have to do wedding in tradition and then go to church and have somebody tell me that because I did not come to church and ratify the marriage? A marriage that is recognized by the Nigerian state, a marriage that is recognized by my culture, a marriage that is recognized by my tradition, recognized by the family of the bride and the groom. You're standing there and telling us that the marriage is not recognized by the church because we didn't come and do it in front of you. We didn't come and do it before the body of Christ. So the people who attended the traditional marriage, who were they? Body of the devil. What is wrong with us? I was listening to somebody say, you people watch Marvel comics. Thor, God of Thunder, God of Iron, and everything. If you call Shango, oh, God forbid, if you call Amadioha, hey. You go to native doctor, if someone wants to watch African spirituality, why are you bastard? Leave the person alone. He goes to native doctor for solution. He carries his native doctor, say, okay, bring 2 tubers of yam, bring a goat, and bring 10,000 naira. Did he sacrifice you? The person took. Someone is looking for a child. The person went and stood before the river goddess and asked for a child. What is your business? Why are you bastardizing it? Why is it evil all of a sudden? Is it evil because you think it is evil, or it is evil because they told you that it is evil? Differentiate it. Differentiate it. Is it evil? Ask that question. Is it evil because it is actually intrinsically you discover that it is evil, or it is evil because you were told that it is evil? And I can bet you it is evil because you were told it was evil. So you think it's evil, you believe it's evil. And that is why of course, we like packaging. That's why a native doctor, he stays in his shrine, nobody comes to him. He says, okay, how are they doing it now? You go and learn small English, study the Bible. These days, they don't even need to study the Bible anyway. All they need is signs and wonders. Like in Daboski, a guy is a native doctor now. But if the guy had presented himself as a native doctor and had a shrine in the village, you people will not go. He packaged it as church. Look at all of you. Kind of native doctor. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's a native doctor, is a native doctor. The problem is people did not go to him, and he decided to package it because you like packaged things. What Oyibo package and give you, you like it. From Monday to Friday, from Monday to Thursday, you can wear corporate wear. Then on Fridays, you can now wear traditional wear. In your own country and within your own culture, you wear English wear to work. Then on Fridays, 1 day out of 7 days is when you can wear native to work. I think Bob Marley said it, emancipate yourself from mental slavery, mental conditioning. You've been conditioned that if you do not go to church and stand and do vigil on 31st night, your following year will be bad. And people believe that thing. People drag you, call it 31st night. My 31st night last year, I spent it going to watch fireworks and drinking a bottle of wine. We entered 2021 together. If it is meant for me to die at the end of 2021, that's fine. If it's not meant for me to die after 2021, I will remain till that's in 2022. What's all that about? I spoke to somebody and say, "Oh, after your men of God have promised you 20, look at how 2020 turned out." They say, 2020 was good for me. Oh, it was good. See how selfish. They brought Christianity, a religion that comes from a cultural context which promotes personal happiness and liberty and freedom. And they brought it to a cultural context, right, that places accountability and the welfare of the community above an individual. That is why we are running into some of these problems. People that open their mouth and say, if 2020 was not good for you, it was good for me. That's selfish. I'm sorry. There's no difference between you and that rich man that you criticize that will go and build a house in the midst of mud houses and thatched houses. There's no difference between you and that politician who will pave the road to the front of his house and stop there. He will build a good road and stop there. Then from the remaining points down, he will leave it for the other people. There's no difference between you and them now. Because if you are saying it was good, you look at our continent, even if you made money, even if things were good for you, look around. Will you be able to enjoy that thing that was good for you? People are living in fear. Tomorrow anybody can kidnap you, Tomorrow the governor from Cross River State, the state governor is going about collecting people's land. The governor can wake up in the morning and pick up people's land. That is a Christian. The Catholic Church gave him knighthood. Go and see what Cross Riverians think about the guy. Man, go there, everything is negative. Himself and his brother stayed and have all the government contracts. He awards it to his family. But the church gave him knighthood. If he walks into any church, they will give him pulpit to address His Excellency, come and address the people. In African spirituality, will you dare that nonsense? That they give you public office and you go and steal and loot and kill people and you think you will remain alive? And all these things, nothing will happen to them. Not one thing. Nothing. Nothing. And we don't come to that point where we begin to ask ourselves questions. This thing is not working. There are some of us that actually have thought about this thing. They've asked me, but they don't have the courage to say, I'm not doing this thing again. It's a scam. The evidence is clear. Cool, all those things. That was not us. Those things were taught to us. We've seen it. The so-called democracy, everything they gave to us. Oh, democracy is the way forward. Christianity is the way. Leave your gods, leave those barbaric, leave those shrine and all those things. In the Catholic Church, we have shrine to Our Lady, shrine to Our Lady of Perpetual Help. We also call it a shrine too. So why would we have, you don't have a problem with this shrine, but you have a problem with that shrine? See, a pastor will go about destroying shrines of our people's culture. What is your plan? Say you are converting people to slavery, mental slavery. I was reading this thing, it says freeing yourself from mental slavery. It says challenge your own thinking, use your reasoning power against itself to make logical arguments for opposing beliefs and theories. Be honest with yourself and recognize your own biases. Pay attention to your thoughts. Learn to observe your mind by developing self-awareness and consciousness. Routinely challenge your assumptions and their origins. What is the origin of this Christian religion? What is this thing they say separation of church and state? Do you know what happened? Because in early Europe, church and state, everything was determined by the church. The king had the pope and the bishops had the ear of the king. So any decision the king wanted to take had to consult with the bishop. If the bishop did not approve certain things, Heresy was not just the church that condemned you. It was the state that condemned you through the church. And people got tired of it. And that's why they say, no, church, let church stay, let state stay on his own. Stop influencing things and causing problem. It became too much. There was so much corruption from the bishops, so much corruption that they had to say, no. We are tired of church and state. Roman Catholic Church, Roman, the vestments the priests wear, their origin is from Europe now. Is that our culture? That's why we watch out that word, identity crisis. We have identity crisis. That is why, as the bishop said, there are so many Christians, but the place is in darkness. The place is in darkness because that Christianity is not authentic. It wasn't meant for us. It's not our way of life. It's not our religion. So we can't practice it. Even the people that brought it have abandoned the thing. Yet we are as Christians, we are the most judgmental, wicked. You see somebody coming out from worshiping in the Blessed Sacrament. That thing he was plotting against you before entering the Blessed Sacrament. He comes out of the chapel of perpetual adoration, still plotting that thing against you. And you say, Jesus Christ didn't touch your mind to tell you that thing you're about to do is evil. I say, what they must have done something to you. That is people that are so. I don't know what to say to people. When people make logical arguments, you want to begin to go into sentiments. Look around you. These are facts. These are not things these are facts. We see them every day. We are living that reality. He said, be willing to see how conditioned you might be. I went 31st night. I'm going to church. Even though the whole of the year you are wicked and evil. You've been doing all sorts of immoral things. You've duped people of their money. You've borrowed money from people you don't want to pay. They are chasing you. You are chancing them. The money they put as civil servants, you've stolen it. Lecturer, you are exploiting people. You are exploiting students. Some students, you are greedy, selfish. You have jealousy. You see something good happening to somebody. The thing is, you're upset. Why should it happen? Even when things are good for you, why should it happen? You want that person to perpetually beg you. But 31st night, we must end it in church. Hey, no, now, 31st night cannot meet me any other place. It has to be church. It's called you are conditioned to think that way. Okay? It's not normal. It's not. You've been conditioned. You've been wired. Just like the same thing I talked about, makeup and everything. The more you see it, the more you practice it, you become wired to think that is the standard of beauty. Okay? So once it's the superficiality is taken off, you look and say, you are not even that beautiful in the first place. So start with a desire for truth, no matter what it might be. Remember Galileo that discovered that the world was spherical, that the earth was spherical, sorry. It was Catholic Church that dealt with him and said the earth is flat. The man said, no, the earth is spherical. I've done the research. He said, no, how dare you? Charlie, the church and state problem. States gave him problem. At the end of the day, we discovered that it was true. The earth is spherical. But they had persecuted the poor man. Martin Luther King, not Martin Luther King Jr., Martin Luther King, the German priest, was critical of the Catholic Church. And he went, people say, and then they excommunicated him. They did all sorts of things, accused him of Protestantism, coming up with the Protestant church and all that. And you hear people say, well, it's not that, he was not wrong. It was the way he went about it. He was telling the truth. It was just the way he went about it that was the problem. He should not have challenged. Why shouldn't you challenge? Why is there a problem with that? These are the same people that are challenged. So look at what they went and did to their Senate house. Where do you think all these our tendencies come from? Tendencies to commit coup. Mali, the army went and removed the president and the prime minister of Mali. Everybody condemned it. Oh, we don't accept military coup in this day and age. If military coup is the way forward for Africa, what's your problem? Your democracy is not working. They had a problem with it. And the people asked, this president and prime minister have been oppressing us and dealing with us for the past how many years? You didn't say anything. Immediately we removed him. Now France, you are now all of a sudden concerned. Come and see the same white people. These people don't like you. The same white people, they want to do coup. They gathered to remove the person, and white Christians are saying yes. No matter what Trump does, this is a man that doesn't like us. And on Sunday, I'll go and sit down and go and worship in the same church with those group of people. They are not happy you are there. They are not happy you are there. They pretend. They don't like you. All these wig nails, you people, you're buying it from the Chinese. That's why the Chinese continue to do what they will do to us. Because they know that they will do what they will continue to do to us, and we will still patronize them and buy their products because we don't have anything for ourselves. Everything we took from them, from every other place apart from us. So the Chinese can, like what they did during the COVID-19, they can behave that way and, nothing will happen to them. I dare anybody to open their mouth and say, any popular person to open their mouth and say, what the Jews passed through in the Holocaust, they should get over it. They would never say it. But you see Africans, the slavery was 100 years ago. Get over it. Oh, colonization was, they are no more colonized. Get over it. Meanwhile, we are still suffering the effects till today. But they are telling us to get over it. But they will never open their mouth and tell Jews to get over. In short, they do a remembrance. Oh, what Hitler did was horrible. Oh, no. Oh, no, the Holocaust was terrible. Oh. But you and I, they will tell you to get over it. What's your problem? This thing happened 100 years ago. You people are still operating on victims mentality and all that. I want to operate on victims mentality when we are still feeling the effects of it. When we have been brainwashed,